Welcome to Experts Exchange. This is Joe Kelly. Today I'm going to show you how to create a tenant within vCloud Automation Center 6. So what we see here is the default interface or web page for VCAC, assuming the environment is set up and running. What we're going to do is go to the vCloud Automation Center console, which will give us the login page for the default tenant within VCAC. The default tenant itself is called vSphere.local. Now this allows us, once we log in here, this allows us to create multiple tenants. Now a tenant itself could be within an enterprise, it could be based on a business unit. If it's in a public cloud situation or environment, it could be based on a customer. So what we're going to do is create a tenant. I've got a couple tenants already defined here. One is the vSphere local tenant, which is there by default, and then I have one that's in my lab called corp.ratform.com. We're going to create a new tenant. We're going to add a new tenant, and we're going to give it the name, let's say engineering. So we'll do this based on business units within an organization. And then we'll make it so the URL name and how you would get to this tenant from a web page perspective, we'll make that engineering as well. And you'll see how this shows up within the URL up here within the web address. So we'll go submit and next, and then we're going to create what's called an identity store. This is basically just defining an integration point for authentication services via Open LDAP or Active Directory. So I have Active Directory running in my lab, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign. I'll give it a name, AD. We'll choose Active Directory. And all the information that's defined here I've pre-populated in this this text document here. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in the interest of time. corp.ratform.com. The login user DSN is administrator. So we'll capture that. Password, close your eyes. The group DSN is going to be the default location for searches based on group and user. So there's multiple points within VCAC where I can search. I basically have an AD picker where I can pick either groups or users within AD and define certain entitlements or credentials within the VCAC interface itself. That's where it's searching from, the corp.ratform.com. So we're going to test this connection. Everything should come back successful, and we'll see I believe a connection is successful up here on the left, is available. Then we'll hit add. That'll add our identity store, so now we should be able to authenticate to this tenant via corp.ratform.com. Now I'm going to hit next. I'm going to add in domain admins as a group that is able to manage this tenant. So we'll choose domain admins, and I'll also add in domain admins as a group that can manage the infrastructure itself. So we'll hit add. Alright, so now I should be able to log out and then log into my tenant that I just created. So we'll go to the address, and this will be the address for any tenant. So any tenant that you create within the VCAC environment will have this portion the same throughout the tenant. So you have VCAC, the name of the VCAC appliance, shell-ui-app, org, and then the name of the tenant. In this case, it's engineering. Right? That'll kick me over to the VIA appliance, which is in this case the I've named it the virtual identity appliance. That is providing SSO capabilities. We're going to log in with administrator at corp.ratform.com. And if all is good with the world, this should log in and I'll have access to my tenant. There we go. So now we are now in the engineering tenant where we can do a lot of configuration, which we'll go through shortly. Thank you very much for being a part of the tenant creation in VCAC 6.0.